I am Jervis Dominic Sadia, and I am a student from AUP and studying nursing. So, you're probably wondering what is the importance of infection prevention for healthcare workers. So, first, let's talk about life. So, life is the most important thing in hospital setting because in hospital, our health is important and we need our body to be in a good state. And in order to achieve this, what we call goals, is we need a team of healthcare professionals. So these healthcare professionals will help us maintain or play a central and critical role in improving our health because in preventing diseases also and deliver healthcare services to their clients such as families, communities, or individuals. They help us also achieve our goal, which is healthy and balanced life. So, what if these healthcare professionals fall? There's no one to help us in hospital. What if they got infected too? And the worst thing is they fail to protect our life and safety from microorganisms or viruses or infections. So that is why it is also important to practice infection prevention for healthcare workers. So you see, infection may spread to everyone, not just to patients, but to healthcare workers also. It is to prevent pathogens from being passed from one person to another. So these pathogens are organisms that causes a disease to our body. On the study that I have read on the internet, it says that every year, lives are lost because of the spread of infections in the hospital. And in order to prevent this from happening again, I think we need to build a good infection control in where we think that spread of infection will potentially that we think that everyone is infectious because why? You think why do we need to think that everyone is infectious? Because in order to prevent the spread of infection, is that we need to be aware and be careful because when infected person talks to anyone, it can spread that fast. And that is why we need to be careful, be aware, because this infection can spread through cough, sneezes, and small droplets or liquids from the saliva or the one that comes out when we sneeze or cough. So you see how worse it is. So that is why we need to take mind of the infection control to us healthcare workers also. Because if we do not mind it, there is a possibility that we might be the reason to spread these infections or microorganisms inside the hospital. So instead of preventing it from spreading, and we did not mind that we don't care that if we spread or we did not take care of the our patient, it might spread. We are the host instead of them, and that is why it is also important to wear PPE like gloves and mask because this PPE will help us prevent and lessen the infection spread in the hospital. And it is also important to wash our hands. You see, because washing hands will help lessen the microorganisms on our hands and the bacteria that are in our skin. So it lessens and reduces the risk of the transmission of diseases from one patient to another because if we touch a patient and we do not wear or wash our hands before, the virus that we got from the past patient that we handed, the virus from that past person might spread to that another patient. You see what I'm talking about? And this will cause infection spread. And If this spread, not only the life of a patient will be at risk, but also to our life, because if we do not take care of the environment and we do not mind of what infections might get from the things or because of not being careful, this will result in infection spreadness. And this might what do you call this? This might this might spread also on our family members, even if they are not on the hospital or they are not present on the hospital. They might get the infection from the hospital because first, we did not wash our hands, we do not wear PPE, and the last thing is that we are not careful of our surroundings or the things that we touch on the hospital, because these things or these tools might be contaminated from the infection. And that is why we always need to take care of ourselves and absorb infection prevention. Because, for example, coronavirus. Yeah, we always know that coronavirus spread because of the transmission. And that transmission happened because we did not mind that we might get affected or we might get infected. And coronavirus spread from contact, not just from person to person, but a contact with an infected surfaces or objects, because these objects are contaminated with viruses and microorganisms that causes COVID-19. So, for example, a person with infection or infected with coronavirus, even with no symptoms, and this may emit aerosols when they talk or breathe. And these aerosols are infected or infectious viral particles that can float or drift around in the air for up to 3 hours. And even if we did not see that person as a COVID patient, because there are no symptoms or they are called asymptomatic, and we did not wear a PPE or we did not care about infection prevention, we might get also coronavirus because we are not careful, we are not aware, and we did not practice infection prevention. And that is all. Thank you.